Hey boos, in this video, I give commentary based on my opinion. Nothing is to be taken as factual. We are just here to have conversation. We don't expose and we don't sip tea on this channel. I'm giving you real talk straight, no chaser. Let's see if you can handle it.
Cause I'm a boss. I haven't done anything for you to be proud of.
Of course you have. You are marrying a man who can support you.
Hello, happy 888 portal. I just got done, not that a few hours ago. I don't know what time it was. I think it's been a minute, but I still been sitting here um with my workshop. I'm in my workshop space. So if you join me tonight on Patreon, the energy was amazing. I love connecting with you all. So I titled this video Change is Good, because change is good. Change is really good. And I've decided to change this channel. I feel like this is my most authentic self with me making this name change. I'm not going to get into the type of content I'm going to create because being in between two worlds is understanding that two things can exist at the same time, and it's not always a contradiction. It's just two things can hold truth at the same time. And so I'm not gonna really focus on like I'm gonna be just creating this and just creating that. Like honestly, I'm probably gonna be like back and forth in between. Like I'm no longer putting myself in like a box. And I've really gotten away from that. Like how long ago? Like it's been like 13 years. I grew up on YouTube. I don't think people understand that. I started my YouTube channel when I was 19 years old. So I was in the yes, it's still available. I was in the I really want to turn Late But Blooming into a podcast. I'm gonna just go ahead and say it. That's why I created that channel. I wanted to be a podcast. That's where I got the name from, Late But Blooming. And things did not go according to plan this year, but I feel like it wasn't meant to. Um, so yeah, that is my podcast name, Late But Blooming. And that has been my journey. Just so I can't wait when it comes to the podcast. The podcast is gonna be dope. It's gonna be dope. So I started the YouTube channel Late But Blooming to like slowly start to transition my way that into that direction. And I really wanted to get things going this year and make things like permanent and stuff like that, but it just did not go according to plan. But the YouTube channel is made. The name is out here. Okay, you're getting some brand awareness when it comes to the name. The name is very meaningful for me. It's probably the most meaningful outside of this new title channel name that I've probably created on like online. Because when I started YouTube, I was 19. So, and I always talk about like that 19, 20, 21 era. That's such an awkward ass stage. And it was such an awkward time for me because I was in that awkward ass like stage in my life. So I started off creating makeup videos, hair videos. Like I was depressed as fuck. Like I dropped out of college, living back at home, depressed as fuck, living with my parents. Did I say I was depressed? I was depressed as fuck. Hated my life. Was questioning like everything. Okay. And YouTube was the place where I could like come and like just express, like, honestly. And it was just makeup, it was hair, it was fashion. And then it grew into like a little side hustle type thing, because I started getting sponsorships with different hair companies and stuff like that. That was fun until I realized like they take advantage of us like a lot. Um, a lot of things that I got into on YouTube, there was no lane. Like there was no like trend to really follow. No one was really doing commentary like that. I mean, there were a few people doing commentary. Like you have the Lovely Teas, you have the Tasha K's, you have the Choice TV and things like that. My growth on YouTube has been very slow, but I started out around the time that they did. So years ago. But I didn't start off with commentary. I started off with beauty and fashion and things like that. So I pivoted into the commentary space because I called out Fashion Nova. If you know, you know. The video is still up. You can go look it up. I called out Fashion Nova, and Fashion Nova wanted to pay me to take my video down. And I told them, I was like, how about you just pay Black women what we're worth as content creators? And how about you actually give them the promotion on your Instagram and I'll take the video down? And they wouldn't do it. They couldn't agree to it. And I was gonna have them sign a contract and everything. They wouldn't agree to it. And so I refused to take the video down, which is why the video is still up. And they blackballed me. And so I had gotten so much love and support from people on YouTube when I spoke out about or against Fashion Nova, because that was when Fashion Nova was like in its prime. This was before they had a male line. This was before they had a kids line. It was women's only. And this is when they had just created their plus size line. And yeah, like I was just like, I'm not taking it down. Cause I'm just like, why can't you agree to that? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm only asking for fairness. Like, I still don't get them. I still don't understand. Like, so, but I was like ahead of my time, even when I did that, because the thing was to just take the money, like just take the money, just take the money. And I didn't want to take the money because I felt like I was a sellout. Like, what's the point of being an influencer and like having influence if you're not standing for something? Like, you know what I mean? Like if you don't have purpose in something. So I got blackballed. So then I ended up pivoting and I started doing just like commentary videos. A lot of it was surrounded around celebrity gossip, because a lot of people like my celebrity gossip topics and videos. I'm starting to think now, like, I don't think for the right reasons, but people liked my celebrity gossip. So my commentary started taking off. And then, of course, this transition into like other things and stuff like that. Then I got into the whole gender war. That was a time. But before I got into gender war, like heavily into the gender war, I was into the Black women's empowering space, Black femininity, like that era. And when I was in that era, what a lot of people don't understand is I could tell this story. Hold on, I may even call my brother in the middle of this live so he could like vouch for me when I say this shit. But it's just like when God really like works through your life, like things happen and they kind of happen like not all at once, but sometimes like back to back to kind of like show you. So I had the Fashion Nova thing, got blackballed, and then around this same time, there was a girl that was out here escorting, and she was using my photos. She was using my photos on this escorting website. And at the time, I was posting photos on my Instagram promoting for different like companies and things like that. And I was still taking pictures and stuff, right? And so I didn't know about it. my brother's friend found out about it, told him, and then he went and met up with the girl to get her to take the photos down. Like, this is a real life fucking story. And my older brother, like, if you know him from my Instagram lives, then you fucking know. He used to give me a hard time about my Instagram photos because he didn't like how I was being seen and portrayed, and he didn't like the comments that he would see in my comment section. He didn't want men looking at me like that. And I kept telling him, I'm like, I'm not really posting for men. And I'm not really like, I'm more focused on like body positivity. But this was before I found out that body positivity was fake as fuck. But I'm young, so I'm really believing in body positivity, right? So, and that's what I'm saying. Like, all of this kind of happened around the same time. So, like, me and him always used to get into it, and he was like, "It's I get what your intent is," but he was saying at that time, like, that's not how people are receiving it or taking it or whatever. And I wasn't listening. Like, I was like, I'm doing me. Like, I don't care what people are perceiving me to be as. Like, I don't give a shit about that. And so, but my brother cared because he didn't want like men looking at me a certain way. And so when he went to this girl, he met her at this motel, and I kid you not, y'all, a motel, not a hotel. Girl, I ain't never stayed in no motel. No shade. I may sound bougie, I may sound privileged, whatever. I ain't never stayed in no motel. So I was like, a motel. And so he I used to have the video, like when he confronted her, he recorded the shit and everything. He didn't record her, but he recorded the conversation with her. And so he met up with the girl and everything. This is a real life story. Hold on, let me see if I can call my brother real quick. Let me see. Let's see if he'll answer. Hold on. Hold on. Dang, he may be busy. Bro, bro, I'm on live. I'm on live. Can you tell my audience about the time you met up with that girl at that motel to get her to take my photos down off that escorting website? Yeah. I'm being so free. I just did it happen. Video, I got the video. You still got the video? I think so. But do you so I just want, can y'all hear him? Let me see. Okay, let me take the echo cancellation off. Okay, okay, okay. So walk them through like when you got to the motel and you realized that this was a girl that was some random girl that I don't know was using my photos. What was your reaction?
I mean, I couldn't believe like she was using your photos to be out here on some thought, you know, she was selling that thing, Damn, I couldn't believe she was really doing that like that and using your photos.
But are you aware now that that like actually changed the direction in my Instagram? Like, once I realized, like, okay, like, what am I doing to the point where someone can take my photos off Instagram and use them on an escorting website? Did you realize at that point that I decided to change because of that?
I mean, for the most part, yeah, you changed it, you switched it up, for the most part.
For the most part.
Yeah, you did like a 180. I wouldn't say for the most part. You did switch it up though.
Like, that's why I was like, what? Okay. It's hold on, let me see.
They can't hear me, huh?
They're saying like you kind of sound far away. But let me see. Does it sound better? Yeah, it's because it's on FaceTime. So maybe that's why. Oh, it's better now. Okay, you can continue. You can continue. It's better now.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying, like I mean, I feel like that was kind of like an eye opener for you, you know.
Eye opener, like honestly, I was able to see where you were coming from. Like I hate that it had to be so drastic, but that was like my wake up call. Like that was like, oh shit. Okay.
Yeah, I really don't be tripping though. I really just be out here, making sure everything is copacetic. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Don't be tripping like you be thinking I be tripping.
Yeah, yeah, that woke me up. So no, I just I just remember you coming and telling me like I was like, dang, for real? And what was I doing? No,
I
what,
wasn't like you laughing right now. Like I didn't think that was funny.
I know it's not funny. It was not funny then, but it's funny now.
And then the bad part about it was, I mean, here's this girl, like I don't know what her situation is or nothing, but I tried. I mean, I needed to get her to understand that what you're doing is wrong. And I'm mad that you're using my sister's photos, but you really need to look at what you're doing though. Like,
Yeah.
that's yeah, that's not cool, man. So,
Yeah. Yeah, it was messed up. And then I mean she tried to make it right, y'all. It wasn't all negative. Like she wanted to call me and to apologize to me directly about it. But I was just like I was just too much at the time I was just in shocked about it. Like I was like, wow, really? So yeah, it's crazy. And then not only that, the worst thing was she used my real hometown city, like the suburb, like okay, if you're in Houston, she
yeah, like
put
I got a phone call from somebody
she
saying,
she put like the suburban area city. Like she didn't put like the metropolitan. She she put like she put the area code. Like I was like, wow. So it was like, yeah, it really woke me up. So yeah, I just wanted, because I feel like people don't ever believe me when I tell this story, but I'm like, no, it really happened, y'all. Like this is a real life story. So, all right, I'm gonna let you go.
yeah, man, I got that video though, man. I hope, crazy.
All right, I'm gonna talk to you later. All right, bye. I don't know. I don't know who the girl. I don't know who the girl is. She used to watch me on the internet. She watched me on the internet. So I don't know. I don't know who she was. But she took that shit down. My brother a real one for that because he just went, met up with her and acted like he was a customer. I'm being so for real. He I swear, y'all, this is a real life story. He went on, I don't know if it was an app or a website or something. And he went on there, acted like he was like a client, like he was gonna pay or whatever, and met up with her at the hotel so she could take my photos down. The motel. So yeah. So the reason why I'm mentioning this is because around this time, I was still in my early 20s, and I wasn't really listening to like I wasn't listening to my dad, my brothers, like I wasn't listening to adults. Like I was really in this era of I'm gonna do what I want and I don't care what anyone has to say about it. So like I used to wear the colorful wigs and my parents would get on me about that. I'm like it's gonna be hard for you to get a job, it's gonna be hard for you to do this and I just wasn't listening. And then my parents were so mad because I wore a blue wig to church. They were so they was pissed. My grandmother, she loved it. I still have a picture of us in my phone that Sunday with my blue wig in. And she was like, "Your hair is cute." I was like, "Thank you." But your daughter don't like it. So my grandmother, she loved how I just like expressed myself freely. Okay. Like she loved it. She felt like she was able to live liberated through me in a sense, because as a young girl, she didn't get to really like play around. And my grandmother, she was really big on like fashion and jewelry. Like I really should show you some old photos of my grandmother. Like when she was like really dressing and like really putting it on, like she was really putting it on. Okay. When she was in her 30s and 40s, she looked really good. So, she's just one of those type of people, but I think she wanted to be able to express herself a little bit more outside of the box than what she was able to in her day, if that makes sense. So, yeah. But what I'm saying is like that was my wake up call, and that's when I really started to transition out of that Instagram baddie. I I I left that behind because I was like, if my photos can be put on an escorting website, like, you know what I mean? Like, so I ended up changing and dressing differently. And I was very naive and very young, where I really thought like you had to show it all to be feminine. Like I really thought you had to show it all to be sexy and to be pretty and to be beautiful and stuff like that. And so I would like overexpose myself thinking that that's what it means to be feminine and beautiful and all of that. No one ever talks about this. And so during that time, I was like, okay, like all of these things were kind of unfolding for me at the same time. So I'm being pushed to change, to grow, to take on a higher perspective. And that's when I ended up transitioning into a more conservative look. But it really it became real for me because of that wake up call. Like honestly. So I transitioned out of that. And then people wanted me to start like an OnlyFans. When OnlyFans became a thing, people wanted me to create a subscription on OnlyFans. And I'm like, I'm not doing that. I'm not even feeding into the the assumption that I would be out here doing that. So I stayed away from that because I already had this experience in the past, and I was like, I'm staying the fuck away from that shit. So I never created an OnlyFans for that reason. I stayed clear of that. And then I started to dress more conservatively, and so I started to take on the mindset of if I'm showing a lot of top, then I'm gonna cover up the lower half. And if I'm showing um like some legs, some thigh, then I'm gonna cover up the top half. And that was me like meeting in the middle with myself and not like completely losing myself, but still like being young and being cute and still being like somewhat trendy, and then like still just having that middle ground. So again, like this YouTube channel is called In Between Two Worlds. And so yeah, part of me still wanted to rebel up, like I should be able to do what I want and da 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 da. But I wasn't getting I wasn't getting what I really truly wanted out of it. So I was like, let me pivot, let me change and see if I benefit more. And I ended up benefiting more because I had already experimented with all the wigs, all the looks, all the different makeup looks, and I had already went through like every style, y'all. I had green hair, pink hair, yellow hair. I had one time I had turquoise and blue, and it went into this pretty ombre. Like I had did all of that to the point where I was like, let's try it out. Let's just see if I like myself. I like my life. I like, and I ended up loving it. So I haven't went back to the Instagram baddie or the colorful wigs and things like that because I just like how I'm treated. And it comes with a lot of respect. Like honestly, like I like how I'm respected. I'm taken seriously. And in any room, and that's the thing, in any room that I step into. So I just really like that. I just like the people feel the need to roll out the red carpet type of treatment. Like I really love that. So I ended up staying here, and I really ended up like really finding myself in this space. Like it's not like, oh, I'm trying to do it because of this or because of that. Like I like it. Like I feel like it's me. I feel like it fits me. And I'm glad I went through those earlier experiences. I'm even glad the girl used my photos on the Escorting website, because it was like my wake up call, and I answered and just decided to like pivot and change and take on a different perspective. And I was at that point able to see where my brother was coming from. So I was like, okay, cool. And then around this time, I was in the Black women's BWE space, and I was heavily being influenced by Cynthia G, still love her, Pink Pill, still love her. Nyla says, like, you gotta give respect where respect is just due. Like, you gotta give them their flowers. Like, I remember tuning in for their panels. I remember tuning in for their chats and their talks. Like, I remember that. Like, I remember that era. And I was the youngest in the space. And at that time, like creating this whole, and this is another thing like that really be pissing me off, is I was a part of creating this lane, meaning I helped create it. There was nothing to follow. Like that's the thing that be pissing me off sometimes. I'm like, there was nothing really to follow. Like there was no one really in front of me at that time that I could like look to and just copy and paste. Because people were in their own little lane doing their own little thing. Like there wasn't like a group or like a trend. I was creating it with connecting with those women during that time. So it's like crazy where people try to like rewrite your story and try to make it seem like you were following what everybody else was doing. Not at that time. Not at that time. Not at the time. Like a lot of the sayings, a lot of the things that are just so popular now on TikTok and shit like that, that all started from the BWE space. BWE space. Now, I was the youngest, so yes, like I was heavily being influenced by the older women in that space because they were older women. They knew things. They had grown kids, some of them. Hell, they had kids as either as old as me around that time. And so they were teaching me as I was also like still being able to connect to the younger crowd of like girls during that time. And so it was just like it was an era, the Black women's empowering space before it crumbled. Before it crumbled. Um, but yeah, like that was, if y'all remember, if y'all remember, then you remember. Okay. And I have to be honest, and this is with me taking full accountability when I say this, which is why, and remember, accountability is change behavior. Okay. So I take full accountability when I say this. The reason why the Black women's empowering space it failed was because we made the gender war the center. Like I gotta be honest with you. And I gotta be real with you too. Around that time, like I was triggered and I had so much deep rooted anger and bitterness. Like honest bitch, I was bitter. Okay. Bitter. All right. It's like mad, bitter. Like honestly, I could say that shit because that shit is gone. Like we've released that. I was bitter as fuck. I was mad. I was angry. And part of the reason, let me explain why I was so bitter. I was so bitter because I always felt like my whole life people did not fucking hear me. Like they didn't hear what I said. They didn't hear me cry. They didn't hear me plead. Like, so I had a platform. So I'm like, I'm gonna speak my truth. Like I'm but it came from a bitter, unhealed place though. Like honestly, like it really did. And then I personally, I can only speak for myself. I got into this space and I got into this energy of I want to compete with men in this space when it comes to men versus women topics. Like I got into that. And my ego, it got the best of me. Like I was like, I'm winning at all costs because I feel like I'm speaking my truth. I'm speaking my now listen, I still spoke my truth, right? But like it still was ego driven. Like and it was bitter and it was anger and it was frustration. It was disappointment. It was feeling like I was let down. Like I had the victimhood mindset really fucking bad. And so I like really participated in that gender war, like honestly, and I have no regrets because I said what I said. I said I have no regrets. I said what I said. It's just I wish I could have said what I said and not have been in such a bitter, angry, low vibrational energy. Like that's the only thing. It's like nothing wrong with speaking your truth, but I just want to do it from a space of being elevated, emotionally intelligent, being a listener, not really a debater, like and I came to the realization that the gender war space was not the space for me. So I moved on. Like I was like, oh, okay. So because it's like who I want to show up as, I can't show up as that person in that space. Like I can't. I can't. First of all, for me to speak and for me to listen, like other people have to listen too. Like, it's like it's a two-way street. And once I came to the realization, this is emotional intelligence, is when you're trying to communicate, right? You have to acknowledge that this is not a safe space. This is not the space to have this conversation with these people. You know what I mean? Like, so instead of you putting expectations on them, you just you met them where they were, and sometimes you got to leave them where they are. Like, you know what I mean? Like you met them there and now you are outgrowing, and so you just got to leave them where you are. And so, and it's not to say that I'm better or anything weird like that. It's just I just don't connect with that energy anymore. Like I just don't connect with that frequency anymore. I just don't. It's just it's like like being on repeat. Everything is on repeat all the time. It's like it's the same talking points. It's the same thing. We not making no leeway. There's no progress. There's no nothing. So I just moved the fuck on. Like, you know what like I don't know about anybody else, but I'm a move the fuck on type of person. I do not stay long. If something is not working for me, I will fucking change, adapt, pivot, do whatever the fuck I need to do to keep moving forward. But like these little things are not going to stop me from progressing, moving forward, elevating. You know what I mean? Like I'm just going to move on. Like I'm all about moving the hell on. If this is not working, change it. If you don't like this, change it. If you want to remove this, remove it. Like why are we sitting in this space and just staying stagnant and staying stuck? Like you have the power within yourself to make these changes. Like seriously. It's just you have to choose. You have to make the choice. And so every time I came into these like moments with myself, like really just going through life and experiencing life, learning more about myself, because honestly, when I was going through these phases, I didn't know who I was. Like, I didn't know who I was. Like, I was trying to find out who I was. I don't think I really found myself until 29. 29. I feel like that's when I like finally found myself, was 29 years old. And this is when this is another thing. This is when I knew I found myself. When somebody tried to tell me through gossip who I was. Like when people tried to speak on my reputation or like my character, it was like that don't even sound like me. That don't sound like some shit I would do. And to have it mirrored back to me by my best friend who sees me. She's probably been like the only person in my life that I feel like she's actually fucking seen me for who I really am. To hear her say, to hear gossip about me or to hear somebody talk shit about me, right? To hear her say out loud, that don't sound like her. Like that was validating. She doesn't know that, but I'm like, that isn't me. That isn't me. Because sometimes people will gaslight you. Sometimes people will try to convince you of who you are because they created these delusional ass assumptions about you in their mind. And a lot of times it comes from spaces of they don't like you, they're insecure, they want what you have. It could be jealousy, it could be envy, it could be they want your influence, like they want the influence that you have on other people. It could be your personality. It could be the fact that, I don't know, like how you handle situations and things, how you move through life. Like you never really know like why people have these assumptions or feelings about you. But I keep trying to tell people this. Your feelings are not always the truth of a person, a place, a thing, or a situation. They're just feelings. That's it. That's it. That's it. I don't think people understand that. And another thing, I want to say this too. When I was in that like Christian, like good girl, like mentality, ooh, I'm really going there right now. Because the girls posted this in the Discord. Ooh, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. When I was in that shit heavily, I was really big on if I do right, I will get everything that I want. Let me pull it up. If I'm a good girl,
How come nobody ever talks about the grief that comes along with the good girl syndrome? Like, when you grow up and you're taught that, like, if you do everything right, like, if you love people right and you don't be out here in these streets and you don't do this and you don't do that, da 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 da, like, you're gonna get exactly what it is that, like, you want in life. And, like, somebody's gonna value you, somebody's gonna do this, da 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 da. And, like, that might be true in some instances, but, like,
I'm gonna cut through the bullshit. I'm gonna tell you the truth. Evil people win sometimes. Bad people win. People who lie and steal win. The hoes still get married. Uh the rich who steal and rob people, they commit genocide, still are on top. Like, let's just cut through the bullshit. But how I was raised to believe by my parents who did a fabulous job, by the way. I was raised by my parents that taught me that when you do good, you will be rewarded. And when you do bad, you will be punished. That's just how I was raised. And that's how they raised me. Like, when I did bad, they punished me. When I did good, sometimes they would reward me, sometimes they didn't. Hell, sometimes they didn't even acknowledge that shit. You know what I mean? But that's how they raised me. So the truth is, like, I don't think I went through a grieving process. I think I went through, well, maybe grief can show up in different, it can show up with different emotions. So I wasn't crying and shit. I was pissed. Like, I was bitter, mad, and angry. Like, what the fuck? Wasting my time with that shit. And it's not wasting my time with being a good person and doing good things. Wasting my time believing in that shit. Like, it's the belief, right? Like, I believe in doing the good thing or the right thing because it's what puts me at peace. So I don't know about y'all, but when I used to do stupid shit as a kid, that shit would stress me the fuck out. That shit would put me under a lot of stress. I would have anxiety like about it. I would have like really bad anxiety about it. So sometimes I would just go ahead and just do the right thing so I could just be peace. You know, I've been in situations where I've done things that I knew I shouldn't have done it, but it put me at war with myself. It created emotional chaos in my life. So here I am, not at peace on the inside. So I do the right thing because I want to be at peace with me. It's not even anything in this world. I don't need a reward. I don't need to be told that I am going to be rewarded. to do the right thing or the good thing. Like, I like the fact that I'm just at peace. I don't have nothing to worry about. I don't got nothing to stress about. I don't got to look over my shoulder. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't need that. But that's how I was raised. And so they had me out here, naive as hell, thinking, 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 just thinking that was the truth, and that's just how it is, and that's how it is for everybody. Oh my God, that's how it is for everybody, and that is so far from the truth. So yeah, like part of that gender war, like anger, bitterness phase that I was in, like it had a lot to do with that Christian good girl shit. Like, oh my God, it really did. It really did. And this is the thing. Do I believe that some people reap what they sow? Yes. But there are other people that don't reap what they sow. Not in this lifetime. Maybe not next lifetime, but not in this lifetime. I've seen it. I've seen it. I've seen it. Seen it. They can do bad things. They can do horrible things to people and get away with the shit. Life is truly unfair. And I used to hear that saying, like, oh, life is unfair. Life is unfair. It really is unfair. It really is. There are people out here wasting years of their life thinking revenge or karma is going to hit somebody that did them wrong. And it may never. You never know. It may never hit them. But that doesn't mean you shouldn't stop living your life. That doesn't mean like, or my favorite, you wait for them to realize that they were wrong. And I realized growing up in this world that some people don't give a fuck. Like, some people don't have your moral compass. So they don't give a fuck. They don't care about your karma. They don't care about your, you reap what you sow. That they don't, you live by that. They don't live by that. And so you waiting, and this is just real talk. Yeah, like, y'all, this is the unfiltered truth. You live by that, right? And you live according to those principles because that's your belief system. But they can have the total opposite belief system and still do well in life. That's just the truth. I've seen it. We've all seen it. We've all seen it. Prime example. We could talk P. Diddy. The hell? And then like and then like the list with Jeffrey Epstein. Like, when is that gonna be released? Listen. So I'ma always tell you to do the right thing so you can just be at peace with yourself. That's it. Some people, they never reap what they sow, they never face karma or anything like that. But a lot of them, I can say for the most part, they're probably not at peace if they have some type of conscious, but not everybody does. And you don't know the ones that do. So don't wait and hope and pray for them to reap what they sow, or for them to come around and realize that what they did was fucked up. Like, do not waste your time with that. I'm sorry. Like, I'm gonna be so real with you. And I'm so glad that I came up out of this. I don't even know. Was it delusion? I don't know what it was. But I'm just so glad I came up out of this, because I used to be, I think the reason why I used to be like so shocked when people would do me wrong, because I'm just like, why would you do me wrong? Like, you know, bad things are gonna happen to you. You know, bad things are gonna happen to you. Because that's why I don't do bad things, right? Because I don't want to be punished. I don't want to be punished. So I'm not out here doing bad things, right? But them, they don't give a fuck about that. They don't care because they don't live by that. You do. That's the truth. That's what they don't tell you. And they can still be successful. They can get married. They can live a happily ever after life. They can have money. They can have all the things that they want. Okay? It's life is unfair like that. Like, I don't make up the rules. I don't know who gets like passes and things like that. I don't know how that shit works.
Like, when you get to a certain point in your life, you start to grieve the fact that I've done everything right. I valued myself. I've done this right, I've done that right, I've loved people, I've held people's hearts, I've carried people's dreams, I've pushed people's dreams forward. And you're like, okay, like, when is it my turn? Like, grieving that, feeling like, when is your turn? It is like one of the hardest things to like grieve, because you don't understand it. It's like somebody tried to give you the answer to a math problem, but still you can't figure out the equation to get that answer. Like, it's truly disheartening, and it like breaks your heart, but like nobody ever talks about that. I don't know. I'm just trying to like heal and recover from like old mindsets, and like even the pressure of being like, dang, like I've been good my whole life. Like, when is somebody gonna see that? I don't know.
Stop focus on being good. How do you move past this? Just stop focusing on being good. Like, just be yourself. And if you're being yourself, that means you're being good. You're just not focusing on being good, right? So that means like you're not living in this perfection, this perfectionate bubble where you're always like, you're like robotic, where it's like, and you do allow yourself to make mistakes, right? Like, because you're not perfect, but it's like, that's it. Like, that's how, like, you stop focusing on being good and you just show up as your authentic self. And you also have to know that subconsciously you want to be a good person. Subconsciously you do, but you've been making it like the center focus, and you are making it the center focus to the point where it's your whole identity. And you could be focusing on some other things when it comes to your identity outside of like just being a good person. Meaning, maybe you could be a little more selfish. Maybe you should focus on that. I mean, you be a little more selfish in this world, in an unfair world, you may actually benefit, because I became a little bit more selfish. I was always like over giving, overextending, always giving my energy out, always giving my support, always giving words of encouragement. Like, I started being a little more selfish because being a good person all the time was just not the focus. It was actually like me stepping into my identity outside of being good, being a good girl. That's it. So, two things can coexist. The only thing is, good person went from here to here, right? So, that's just not the focus. What can be the focus up here? Focusing on yourself, loving yourself, protecting your energy, living in your peace, doing things that you want to do. What do you like? What's your favorite song? What do you like? What hobbies do you have? Like, you're just not making being a good person. Because really, when you are focused on being a good person, you automatically really put yourself in that servant role. You put yourself in that servant role because you're focused on being a good person to others. So you're placing yourself in that servant role to serve. And you could be a little more selfish. Like, honestly, like you could be a little more selfish. Like, that's what that really is. And there's a lot of pressure as a woman to be a good woman. Like, a lot of pressure. And that was one thing that I was really like heavily struggling with. I was really, really struggling with this. I think that's so cool. I was struggling with the pressure of society expecting that of me. Like, that's why I always be like, why do women, when I was in the gender war space, I was like, why do women always have to have like this higher morality compass compared to men? Like, I didn't understand that. I'm just like, why are we? And it's like an expectation, it's a standard. And then for them, it's like they could just lack. And this is another thing, okay? Because everyone is just focused on people. But you can look at men. You can just look at them and be like, they're like they're like one of the ones where they don't have to live up to that. That's not a standard for real. It's just, it's not a standard for them. And they seem to be living their life perfectly fine. And they tend to be what? Selfish. Selfish. They tend to be what? So I'm just saying, balance it out. I'm going to always tell you to balance it out. Don't be black. Don't be white. Don't be gray. Be adaptable. Like, like learn when to give, learn when to pull back, learn when to be selfish, learn when to uh preserve, learn when to just keep to yourself, learn when to um integrate, or learn when to be in communion and fellowship with others, but then also learn when to isolate. Like it's truly all about you not being just this or that. Like it's truly just you being a adaptable, situational woman. Like that's what it's like. That's how you win in this world. A lot of women come on social media and they sell you gimmicks. Like that's what they sell you. They sell you bullshit. I'm gonna tell. They sell you bullshit. They sell you some bullshit. First of all, they try to convince you that you can control another person. You can't. That shit always backfires. It doesn't matter if you manipulate and you do the whole psychology route. It doesn't matter if you do spell work. It doesn't matter if you do like you try to play, you try to outsmart people, and it always backfires. Like it really does. It really does. And the reason is because it involves someone else's free will. Like honestly. So I'm gonna tell you to always be selfish and put more focus on yourself from an authentic place, because you win at that point. Life stops being so unfair. But when you put all these things like society's pressure for you to be a good girl, and society's pressure for you to be this, for you to be that, and then like these gimmicks where, oh, all I have to do is do this, or all I have to do, they're just gimmicks. They're just gimmicks. You have no control. The system that we live in convinces you that you have control, or you have some type of control, but you have no control. It's 2025. Can you control any of this shit that's going on right now? Any of it? There's a war on Black women when it comes to the job market. You have any control over that? You have any control over these laws being changed? Do you have any control over, hell, the weather and how it's so unpredictable at this point? You have no control over that. But we live in a system that tries to convince you that you have control. You don't. You don't. The system is built off of control, but you just live in that system. And so they sold you this idea that you have control, but it's all like, it's bullshit. You don't have no control. If you did, you wouldn't be in the system. You're being controlled. So they will really try to convince you. Like they will really try to convince you that, oh, just do this and just do that. But every time they convince you to just do this or to just do that, it serves the system that you are controlled by. So it's a gimmick. It's a gimmick. So the only thing you can do is choose yourself and be adaptable, be pivot. Like I cannot stress pivot. When it benefits you, pivot. When you're being called to elevate, elevate. Like, don't stay stuck and stagnant. Don't do that. Like, people really expect for you to just stay the same for years and years and years and years and years. And it's just like, that sucks to come here and live like one experience in life. Like, pivot, adapt, be situational. Come out of this rigid, this I don't even fucking know what to call it. Like it's very rigid. It's rigid. It's rigid. It's rigid. And then what I found to be amazing was when I came up out of this like good girl bullshit, this gimmick. I stopped struggling with the depression. Like I don't I if you met me during my era of the girl on the balcony, you met me when I was suicidal. So I don't deal with depression. I always dealt with depression. I dealt with depression since I was like shit, 8. Like 8, like I'm a kid struggling with depression, not knowing why. Like nothing was really bad. Like there were bad times, but there were also good times. But I always just struggled with depression. Like I would always struggle with depression. But I'm telling you, when I came up out of this good girl standard expectation by society, hell, my family, oh my God, my family, just like really stepping into this, I don't give a fuck, but doing it in a healthy way. See, before, when I was in my destructive phase, I was doing things to spite them, but I was hurting myself. That's immaturity. So I leveled up and was like, okay, I'm a rebel, right? But I'm going to do it so I win in this unfair world. So I'm going to adapt, I'm going to pivot, I'm going to level up and evolve and do it in a way that where I win. And depression, I don't be struggling with that like that no more. Like it sounds crazy and I'm not medicated. And I feel like that's important to say. I'm not against medication or anything like that. I feel like if you struggle with mental health and you think medication would help, definitely get help. But I'm saying like I'm not on medication. So sometimes like depression is brought on by these expectations that come from outsiders, like things outside of us, and it comes from a place where it's all about control. So that means you're in this space within yourself where you're not able to truly like be you, do you, love you, be like just be yourself because of these outsiders, okay? And so they only care about control and the system, right? But then you are depressed. That's how it starts. You're depressed. You're not happy. And you look at other people and they look so happy and it's like, well, where can I get some of that? Like I want some of that happiness. Like why can I have some of that? And it's truly because of that. It is truly because of that. Um, when it comes to being like neurodivergent, like the best thing is you really can't give a fuck. Like honestly, people are gonna misunderstand you. Like they are. They gonna think they have you all figured out and like they know you really well and don't know a damn thing. They only know like a piece of you or a part of you or a season of you, a phase of you. Like they don't know you like that. Like, but people will swear up and down that they know you. And you can't care about that shit. Let them misunderstand you. You're a mystery to them. It will literally take their whole life trying to figure you out, trying to truly understand you. So embrace just being misunderstood. Like honestly, that's your liberation. You got to embrace just being misunderstood. Like people all like they just don't know how to read you. Like honestly, they don't know how to read you. They think they do. They think they do. Some of them think they do. Some of them think they have you all figured out, but they have no idea. They have no idea. They think they have you figured out by calling you like a chameleon or calling um like fake or something like that because you are adaptable, you pivot, you change, you grow, you elevate, you evolve, you take on different appearances, different thought processes, different expressions. You take on like you're just not like a stereotype. Like I don't know what else to say. You're not a stereotype. So they try to stereotype you. Like they're so focused on like putting you in this stereotype or a stereotype, and then they think that they have you figured out. But then when you come out of that stereotype, then they're like, well, who is she? And then you come out of that and they're like, oh, I think I have it figured out. And then you come out of that and then they'll call you a chameleon and still don't have you figured out. But let them, honestly. So the best thing I'm gonna tell you as a the best thing I'm gonna tell you as a neurodivergent, like, you just cannot care about people misunderstanding you. Like, you really cannot give a fuck. It's exhausting. And then, like, this is what I love about us. This is what I love about us is a person over here, and this is why I named this channel In Between Two Worlds. A person over here will say this about you, and then another person will say this about you, and another person will say this about you, and all three of them contradict each other. Don't you love it? And it's because you're a complex individual. Context extremely matters to you. Like, because you believe in duality, you are a multidimensional person. So, of course, they're going to confuse you with being a chameleon or like being fake or phony or something like that. Or being like this or that. It's truly because you believe in duality, you believe in being multi-dimensional. And so what these people don't understand is they're seeing you from a multi-dimensional perspective. So when they speak on you, the things that they have to say about you, because they have you in a stereotype and all figured out, they contradict. So the only thing they can do is say chameleon. How in a world, in a system that's all about control, right? So they created these stereotypes, they created these images, right? But it's like they created these images, right? And so you have to fit in the images that they created. And when you don't fit in the images that they created, then it's your fate, or you're being something that you're not. But it's like these three things can exist at the same time. They can exist at the same time because you're about context, you're about substance, you're about beyond the surface. So if you're living from the standpoint of thinking beyond the surface, okay, that means you're going to be situational. You're not just performative. You're not just playing this role because, well, that's what your stereotype says. Like, so you may step outside of your stereotype from time to time, or you may do some the complete opposite of the stereotype that they labeled you. But it's truly because you're a multidimensional person and you're about living from a place of beneath the surface, not the surface level, but you're living from beneath the surface. So when you live from beneath the surface, what are you? Unpredictable. You're unpredictable, mysterious. People don't seem to be able to figure you out. So it's crazy. Let me see. Sorry if I missed this, but what's your perspective on how one can find out who they truly are, who the real version of themselves is? Experiment. Like, if you go back and you listen through this live, right? What did I do? I experimented. And this is the thing, like, when I was out here experimenting, I did not care about how I looked. It wasn't about that. It was about trying to find home. So when I was in this space of like trying this and trying that and trying this and trying that, like, I was on a adventure. So I was trying every little thing I could get my hands on. I stepped out of that whole good girl Christian phase and I was just trying little things. And you got to understand that when, like, this didn't make me immediately crave like bad things. I don't know how to explain this. Like, it just made me want to step out my comfort zone and like not think so much about how I was gonna look or what people were gonna say or clocking myself constantly on, but does this still make me like a good person? Like just trying different things. So I tried different foods, music, looks. Like I would always change up my look a lot, like hair, makeup, clothes, like just change it up often too. And I had fun. I had so much fun to the point where now I know what looks good on me. Like ain't no more of that awkward bullshit where I was like 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, where I just didn't know what looked good on me or what worked for me, but now I know what works for me. So it's like easy for me to just do this or do that. Plus, there's a level of self-love and acceptance that I was able to embrace within myself. And so after I got done experimenting, and I went extreme, okay? Because it used to take me like 3 hours. Y'all, it used to take me 3 hours to do my face. But when I started wearing makeup at like, I started wearing a full face 22, 23. I wore a little foundation here and there 19, 18, 19, 20, 21. 22, 23, I started wearing full face makeup. And that's when Kim K was doing the whole couture highlight under the eye. And that's when I was really getting into it. So if you go back, girl, that makeup was heavy. Okay. So when I say I went extreme, I did. And I feel like sometimes you do have to go a little extreme and then balance it out, peel back the layers and like really see who are you, you know? And so I test the waters, but I didn't test the waters to the point where I would look at myself in the mirror and just not like the version of myself that I would see, like looking back at me, But I would test the waters though, like a lot. I would. Like that was my thing. Like I was always gonna test the waters. Just so then, because I was one of those people when I took on this like journey and I was going through these different phases, I was one of those people where I took on the mindset like, well, how do I know if I don't like it if I don't try it? A lot of times we look at things or we see things, we assume things, or we assume we won't like it, or we assume it's not for us, or we assume it's not gonna look right, or we make all of these assumptions before we even try it. So when I was going through this phase, it was very extreme. I was trying everything. I didn't experiment with drugs or like there were things that I didn't do. Like I didn't really experiment with drugs. I did experiment with casual sex. I experimented with what else? Groups of people. Like I can say I did. I experimented with different groups of people. Learned a lot with that shit. Learned a lot. The rich and the poor are no different because the rich and the poor still have problems. Okay. The rich and the poor just have different problems, but they have problems. And the people in between also have problems. Everybody has problems. Like everything, everybody has something that they may struggle with. Okay. But there are these special people that struggle with things, but they always like come out on top, whether they do good or bad. Like, because life is unfair like that. But everybody got problems. Like, don't ever think that people don't have problems. Like, everybody got problems. So, which brings me to my next point. Let me finish this.
Just food for thought.
Everybody got problems. So, this may sound a little harsh, but it's true. And I'm going to explain to you why, because it transitions into this conversation.
I hate to be the one to tell you, but somebody has to. Your pain is not unique. It's not special. It's not exclusive. It is not proof that the world is harder for you than it is for everyone else. It's just
let's go back. Your pain is not unique. Why is your pain not unique? Because it's not who you are. So, one thing about finding yourself, your pain, your trauma is not who you are. And a lot of times when we go through traumatic experiences, painful experiences, we make that who we are. Or we think that's who we are. So when you actually like find yourself, you realize that's not me. That's not me. That was my trauma, that was my pain, but that wasn't me. You know what I'm saying? And one thing I had to realize through my healing journey was my identity was all wrapped around pain and trauma, which creates depression, which creates anxiety, which creates bitterness, which creates anger, which creates a heaviness that you have to carry, that is hard to carry, that is exhausting to carry, that is miserable to carry. I mean, I can go on and on. Your pain and your trauma is not who you are. It is what happened to you. It was a bad experience, but you are making it your entire existence. It was an experience. And the reason why it doesn't necessarily make you unique is because everybody has trauma. And when you're unique, that can't be everybody. Uniqueness is a one and only. That's it. There's only one, right? But when we speak on like pain and trauma, like everybody has pain and trauma. But how are you unique? What makes you you that's just so different and special from everybody else? You have to find out what that is. But you can't do that if you think your pain and your trauma is what makes you unique and special. It's a hard truth. It's hard, but this is unfiltered. So I had to come to that realization. And I'm gonna be so honest and transparent when I say this. When I came to this realization, I didn't want to let go of my pain. I didn't want to let go of my trauma. And I fought it for a very long time because I really felt like if I was like, well, if my pain and my trauma doesn't make me who I am, what's going to be my motivation? What's going to be my drive? Because that's what made me like go hard. That's what kept me motivated. Like that's what like really like amped me up to like keep going. But I was in survival mode. So I had to find myself outside of my trauma and my pain. Something that would give me something, finding myself to where I would have something to live for. Because living for pain and trauma and just living there and not really expanding outside of that. That's why I love Tracy Ellis Ross and her new series. It ain't about pain and trauma. It's about what you like, what you want to do, what you want to see, what you want to experience. It's about what makes you tick, what makes you happy, what makes you light up, what makes you feel good on the inside, what makes you giddy. You know? It's about that. It's not about your pain and your trauma. So, you know you have truly found yourself when you know who you are outside of your pain and your trauma. That's how you find yourself. Why do y'all think I've been preaching on this channel, take on a healing journey? You think I was just saying that shit because it was trendy Hell no. It was always real for me. Like, it was real for me. Like, I don't think people understand like how deep this shit really goes. But it's like healing was so real for me. I Me stepping into my femininity was only the tip of the iceberg. Like, it was only like, it was like surface. But I decided to go deeper because I like to know things through and through, under the surface. I want to know. I want to experience. I want to be confident because, again, I had that mindset of what? Trying everything, being open. How do I know it's not going to work for me if I don't try? How do I know I'm not going to like it if I don't try? So that was my mindset. So I'm like, we're going to go a little bit deeper with this. Like, we're not just going to stop at the whole femininity thing. We're not going to just stop with the whole, oh, it can help you get a man. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we're going to go a little bit deeper. It's not about just how you carry yourself, your looks, and, how you show up in the world. But let's go a little bit deeper. And that's when I realized, like, damn, I only know my pain. I only know myself when it comes to pain. I only know myself when it comes to me experiencing trauma. I do not know myself outside of those two things. And then I don't know myself outside of the expectations of others. So for me to get past those things, I had to stop giving a fuck. Okay. The expectations do not matter. And then I had to heal. I had to release this strong ass fucking grip my pain and trauma had on me. It was hard. That shit was hard. Separating from your trauma and your pain is hard, especially when you're a transmuter. Okay, I transmute energy. I'm so big on that. So it motivated me. Like, it put me in this hustle, go harder, show up, give it all you got. Like, it motivated me. I thought it was self-love. Like my whole system, my whole belief system was built on such a faulty foundation. It was. It was. And one thing I've learned about healing is sometimes you have to destroy to recreate. It's like a rebirth. It's like a phoenix rising. Well, it's not quite like a phoenix rising, but it's a rebirth. It's a renewal. It's a transformation. It's shedding old skin. And when I accepted this, I accepted being perceived however people want me to be, however they choose to perceive me to be. And I accepted being misunderstood. I accepted not being seen for who I am. See, I'm seen. Like, of course you see me, right? But one of my biggest insecurities as a kid, and I think it was probably the reason why I was depressed the most, is because I always felt like I was seen but not seen, not understood. And I will never forget, one of my favorite movies was Beyond the Lights. And the scene in the movie where the cop is on, like, he's out there on the balcony, right? And he's trying to save this girl from taking her own life, like really taking her own life. And so she is in this identity that others want her to be in. The expectations and the standards of her mother, her fans, society, the world, her label, right? Trends, pop culture, like all of these things. That's why I love that fucking movie. Like, people don't understand that. That's my movie. Okay. If you look beyond the surface, okay. So she's out on this balcony and she just wants to take her life because she's like, well, I feel trapped here. Like, I feel trapped in this life that's not mine. It's not me. It doesn't resonate with me. It's not my story. It's what others expect of me, right? And so in that moment, he says on the balcony when he's trying to talk her off the ledge, I see you. So if you've ever been like myself, a person that has experienced this life and you never felt actually seen, like people would make judgments about you, people would make assumptions about you, people would just project. Oh my God. People would project on you. And so you would take on whatever they threw at you. Like you took it all on. I'm taking it all on, right? But that's not you. That's not who you are. So you live in this miserable place within yourself, right? And when he said on that balcony, I see you, in that moment, she was like, oh, oh, because I've never felt seen my whole life. We're talking about someone that was a pop star, like a Rihanna, right? But in her inner world, not her outer world, her inner world. Remember, this is between two worlds with Yoni. In her inner world, she never felt seen. The outer world, she was seen. But the inner world, she wasn't. She felt trapped. So she felt like her only way out was to jump off that balcony. And he said, I see you. Now, in that moment, I think the metaphor was, I see you, I hear you, like, I understand you. And he did, because he had expectations. Like, I think his father was like pushing him to be, was it the sheriff or the mayor or something like that? I forget how the movie goes. Like, I forget, because I'm also seeing the duality in them mirroring each other. So in that moment, he did see her because he saw himself. And oftentimes we mirror back to each other different things that we may also see in ourselves. And I think the things that mirror back to you are the things that also make you who you are. And we don't know how to be open to that. We don't know how to receive that, because sometimes we don't know how to welcome that in. A lot of times we let our insecurities get the best of us, or our triggers get the best of us, where we can't actually welcome that in, because that mirror, whatever it was being mirrored to you through another person, sometimes it's showing you who you are. So in the movie, he could relate to her, like feeling trapped in this lifestyle, feeling trapped in this expectation when it comes to his father, her mother, and feeling the need to live up to what they wanted in life. And so he did see her because he saw himself. So that's why that's my movie. Like, I need to rewatch that again. Like, I don't know how many times I've watched that movie, but that's my movie. And so he is like, he I feel like because he saw her in that moment, because he saw himself, he was able to really get to know her for who she really was, and not like how the outside world viewed her, but he was able to view her from her inside world. And that's how they connected. It's called Beyond the Lights. It's old. Like, I think that movie came out in like 2014. It's a oldie.
I hate to be the one to tell you, but somebody has to. Your pain is not unique. It's not special. It's not exclusive. It is not proof that the world is harder for you than it is for everyone else. It's just pain. And
I'm just finding out it's almost midnight. Let me hurry up. Cause y'all, I gotta update that Kendra story, and I want to get it up soon. She's still uploading and telling her story. So I was like, she only had a few videos. I was like, let me give her some more time to update us on what's going on with her. So I gave it a few days. Plus, I did the Lionsgate workshop, and I really wanted to have my energy up, 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 because I've been sick. So I took 2 days off. But I'm a, we going I'm sorry. Every time I think of that lady, I just bust out laughing because she really cuckoo. Like she cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. I don't know. She a cuckoo lady. She a cuckoo bird. You know? Cuckoo.
And pain is part of being human. Yes, your story matters. Yes, what you've been through shaped you. But be careful not to build your identity around your wounds, because the moment that you start believing your pain makes you different, you'll start protecting that pain instead of healing from it. Some communities
Do y'all see why I left the gender war space? And you know it sucks. Like I put myself out here on the internet, but that's my choice. People still hold me to that version of myself. And I've outgrown that shit. But hey, it's fair game. It is what it is.
will keep you stuck in that. They'll feed this very idea that your hurt is sacred, that no one else could understand, that your life will always be harder because of who you are. And that kind of thinking, it sounds like empowerment, but it's just, to me, it's emotional captivity. Pain is universal, and if your worldview only works when you're seen as the most harmed, the most burdened, you'll stay trapped in the cycle of self preservation, not
I have no idea, y'all. I'll make sure to link this. I don't have my I think it's Raquel. I'll just make sure to leave a link. I don't know this lady's name, but she dope. Whoever she is, she dope. She speaking my language.
you're seen as the most harmed, the most burdened, you'll stay trapped in the cycle of self preservation, not transformation.
I left the gender war because I was transforming. Okay? Like not grifting, not being fake, like literally transforming. Like I outgrew that shit. I outgrew it. When I was in it though, it was real for me. Like it was real for me. When I was in it, it was real. Every phase I've ever gone through, it's always been real for me. But it was real where I was at in life. When it stopped being real, I leveled up and transformed. I'm gonna always be real with myself. And the leaving the gender war, that wasn't like this is another thing that be killing me. It's like, listen, me leaving the gender war, who was out here doing that? It's like when you a trendsetter, this is what irritates me. When you're a trendsetter and people like steal your shit because you just being authentic, and then they try to make it seem like you was copying what everybody else was doing. I'm sorry it turned into a trend to leave the gender war behind. But I literally did that shit because I came to an awake like I went through an awakening, like I was enlightened. And so I was like, I feel like this is keeping me stuck and stagnant. Like I don't really resonate with this no more. Like this isn't me. Like this was when I was hurt. Like this is when I was angry. This is when I was bitter. This is when I was mad at the world. This is when I had victim mentality. Like this is I've moved on from this. I don't even have bad male experiences anymore. Like I'm actually having good experiences. Hell, I healed my daddy issues. Me and my dad got a good relationship. Talked to that man earlier today. And he literally called me. This man called me to tell me because y'all all know my mother had cancer. And so me and my niece, I wanted to do something thoughtful for her. And so I love doing this. I love doing stuff like this. So I created a memory, a moment. Like, and that's the thing. When you want to have a beautiful life, you have to create it. Okay. Even in times of darkness, you have to create that shit. So I made it a big deal. Me and my niece went out and got her Nana some roses, a cute little cake. She picked it all out. She got she got her card and she signed it. Like, and um we wanted to celebrate her for being cancer free and her finishing strong with her healing journey and like everything like that. And so we gifted her and honored her. And I made it a big deal. I was like, listen, I told my brothers, listen, y'all need to be at the house when I get back. Because when I walk in the door, I wanted my niece to just walk in and like give her her cake and give her her fresh flowers and stuff like that. So I'm like, I need y'all to be there. All right. So they're all at the house. Everybody's waiting on us to get back. And so she walks in, my niece walks in all cute. She's like, here, Nana, I got you some flowers. I got you this card. I got you this cake. So walk with me. So we celebrate her and honor her during this healing process. And so we gifted her roses. Now, if you go to my Instagram, I'm cutting the roses off the stems. Like I'm not cutting the roses, I'm sorry. I'm cutting the leaves, the greenery off the stems so she could just have a rose. And we're putting the roses in her vase. My niece is helping, my mom's helping, we're all helping. And I think it's been like, has it been like 2 weeks? Yeah, because I've been sick for 2 weeks. Yeah, it's been 2 weeks. And so my dad calls me and he goes, where did you get those flowers from? I was like, the grocery store. And he was like, oh, why are the stems growing leaves? I've never seen roses do that. Why are the roses still fresh? Like typically around this time they start to die. And I was like, I don't really know. I mean, I did put some ice cubes, I did put some ice cubes in the water or whatever, but I'm like, that's all I did. And I gave the little powder packets in it. And then he goes, well, I've never seen flowers do that. Like, I've never seen roses last that long. And I kid you not, because my mom, she texts me too. I guess they've been talking about it. Like, I just can't believe this. Because they've never seen anything like this before. And I told my dad, I was like, I really think it's spiritual. So let me show you what I'm talking about. That's new growth. Those stems were just bare. Like there were no leaves or anything like that. And so this is growth. Okay. So I was telling my dad, I was like, that sounds spiritual. Like that sounds like a good omen. And I'm glad we were able to share that with her. So her flowers are like lasting a really long time to the point where she's like, experiencing like new growth. So I'm saying all of this to say, like, he felt it was necessary to call me to tell me that. And I already knew what it meant because y'all know how I am. I'm very spiritual. And so whenever you have growth in and around you, like flowers like that, or like your plants, and you have growth at the soil, like you're like you're blessed. Like you have to understand that you are blessed. You're blessed and you are going through a transformation, like a rebirth. And that's what it truly symbolizes. It was very beautiful. Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. The roses were gorgeous.
Need you to stop needing your pain to be special. Start learning how to live beyond it. Healing doesn't mean that you're forgetting, it means refusing to keep rehearsing a narrative that shrinks you.
And so when it came to the gender war, I was just tired of rehearsing the same narratives. And I outgrew it. It was the same shit. You heard it once, you heard it all. You heard it before. Like, and then like I just got to a point where when you come out of that victimhood mentality, you really start to be more accountable for your life and you really start to see how you're there because you're choosing to be there and you don't have to be there. So once I came to that realization, like the victimhood was just gone. And I just accept it like I'm only there because I'm choosing to be there. I let that shit go. I moved on with my life. It just does not resonate. The energy doesn't resonate. The topics are boring. Like it's just the same old bullshit. Like you've seen it once, you heard it once, you've heard it before. Like it's it is what it is. I don't feel like women shouldn't speak their truth, right? I'm just saying speaking your truth only through the lens of your pain and your trauma. When are you going to start rewriting your story? That's what I'm saying. When are you going to start like living for yourself? When are you going to start being who you want to be? So, yeah, it just after a while it gets old. So, I moved on. So, that's really all I wanted to really talk about. So, the channel it's changed. In Between Two Worlds. And we will be having more topics and discussions like this because, well, I'm in between two worlds. It doesn't mean that I'm not going to do celebrity gossip topics. It doesn't mean that I'm not going to touch on like trendy things and things like that. But I will be taking on the perspective of truly going beyond the surface. I will be expanding into other topics and things like that. But I'm just taking on the experience of like looking through having conversations from underneath the veil or through the veil or beyond the veil and just only having conversations at the gate. you know, like the veil is open. I feel like y'all gonna understand what I'm saying. When the veil wasn't open or when it was thinning, I don't think people was really understanding what I was putting down, but I think people ready now. So in between two worlds. And that is just where I'm at. Um I love it here. I hope you get comfortable on the channel. Also, Patreon, my light keepers. Become a light keeper. What does it mean to be a light keeper? Well, we do practice hoodoo. We do. We do. We do. We do. We practice hoodoo. All right. Is listen, the best way I can explain it. White nationalist Christians practice Christianity with pagan. I practice hoodoo, which is Christianity with ancestral root work and herbalism. All right? That's the difference. I'm not doing they rituals. I don't put up Christmas trees in my house. I don't do that shit. That's pagan shit. I do hoodoo. I do what my ancestors did, what they practiced. All right? I don't if you up here with me, then you get what I'm saying. If you're not, I hope one day you see what I'm talking about. Okay? I do. That like when people be like, what is the difference? That's the difference. You are practicing white nationalist pagan rituals, and hoodoo is practicing your ancestral practices and rituals. That's it. Okay? And that's what be killing me with people. They be like, oh, you're doing this and you're doing that. And you celebrate Easter. You're doing this and you're doing that. And you are hanging up trees and on Christmas, celebrating the white man's pagan holiday. And I don't know what else to say. So listen, I practice hoodoo. However, with me doing that, I am passing down what where we come from as foundational Black Americans. Okay. So if that resonates with you, if you're deconstructing white nationalists, nationalism, Christianity, then you're welcome to come over there and continue to spread the light. Okay. That is up to you. All right. Become a light keeper if it's interesting to you. Okay. Um, it is in our blood. Like I will 1,000% agree with that. It is in our blood. But I will also agree that you being connected. See, people are making what people don't understand is you practicing hoodoo keeps you connected to where you come from. Okay? When you practice what they do, you're keeping them harvesting off of your black energy. Okay, like I don't know what I'm not trying to get too deep, but you're allowing them to harvest off of your blackness. Okay, so when you're practicing your hoodoo, you are staying connected to who you are. That's what that is. And instead of being connected to who they are and what they practice and where they come from and all of that. Okay? That is literally the difference. I don't understand why people get so upset and angry and be like, "Oh my God, I did it." That's literally the difference. Deconstruct. And what are you deconstructing? The white nationalist I don't even know what to say. Like the whitewashing. That's what you're deconstructing the whitewashing. That's it. You're removing what is not your identity, what is not your blood. Like you're removing that. Okay. You're not removing God. You're not doing all that. You're just removing that, like that. Okay. And this is what keeps you from being a contradiction. Because you'll do what they do when it comes to serving who they serve, which is pagan, right? But you are terrified of what you do and where you come from. That's insanity. But when it comes to colonization and when it comes to what a lot of people don't understand is they demonize veneration, which is honor, respect, acknowledgement, like acknowledging like who you are, where you come from, your ancestors, the sacrifices. It's like showcasing respect. They put that in your mind to demonize that, right? But what people fail to understand is when you demonize them, you demonize yourself. Now, why do you demonize yourself? You don't know where you come from. Why do you not know where you come from? Why do you not know who you are? The reason why they're able to demonize where you come from is because, well, you don't know who you are. So they can tell you, oh, that's wrong, that's bad, that's da, da, da. But it's because you don't know where you come from. You don't even know who you are. And then this is the thing, where you come from, things already existed. There were things that existed before they came along, right? So like there were things that were normal to you, that was culture for you, but they're now seen as or labeled as bad. So it's like it keeps you further from yourself, further from who you are. And this is another thing too, because Black people, this is how I know most foundational Black Americans don't know who they are, right? You're always wondering why they don't like us. I don't understand. Like, why? I don't understand. Like, what is it about us? Us. Like, you always have that burning question. You always do. I'm gonna tell you to deep dive. I'm gonna tell you to look into it. Look into what I'm saying. I'm not telling you to just take on what I'm saying and believe every little thing that I'm saying. Hell no. I'm saying look into it. Cause you gotta like that was one of the burning questions that I fucking had. I wanted to know, why do they hate us so fucking much? Like, why? Why do they hate us? How is it that we believe in the same God? We have the same Christian principles and abide by the same Christian principles, and we read the same Bible. Why do they hate us so fucking much? Why? It can't just be the color of my skin. That's what they told you. That's what they told you. They told you, it's because of the color of your skin. And you believe them too, because that's what they told you. You believe it was just because of the color of your skin. You really think it's just the color, it's just the color of your skin? Why is it that it's not just the color of their skin when it comes to these other minority groups? Why is it not about their hair? Why, you know what I mean? Why is it us? Like, why, like, you really got to ask yourself that shit. Like, why? Why is it? And then this is the thing. It's global. It's not even like, because, oh my God, I saw that UK situation with another girl that was on a different season of, oh my God, what was the name of that reality show? I already done forgot about it. I done moved on. What is that show called? Damn. Oh, Love Island. Damn. I guess she was in the UK. She was on the franchise Love Island. I feel like here in the United States, like we riding for her, like right. She over on the yonder over there across the pond, across the ocean. But we riding for her here in the United States. Why they not riding for her out there in the UK? The fuck? Like, first of all, I didn't know they were more racist over there than they were here. I didn't know like how racism was more acceptable over there. This was a learning lesson for me. So it's like you got to start asking yourself, Whitney, you got to start asking yourself, why us? Do you really think it's just the color of your skin? And it's a global thing. It's global. Like it don't matter where you go. Like your skin, like we think it's the skin, right? Because we live in a system that programs us to believe that if we had white skin, things would be different. According to the system, yeah. But it's always deeper than that. Like it's always beneath the surface. You gotta ask, do you really think it's just your skin color? Then what is the hate for? See, see. It's because, like, if you know who you are, you would know the answer to that. If you know what you're capable of, and I'm talking about spiritually, I'm not talking about anything in this physical reality. If you know who you are and you know where you come from and you know what you're capable of, you would not be asking me that. Okay? You wouldn't. You would not be asking me that. And black people, like, one thing about us, the soul, it's always the soul for us. It's always the soul. Like, it's not it's not this outer shit. Like, people feel us. Not everybody has that effect. They don't. Like, people feel us. We are able to move people through existing. Everybody had it. It's a soul thing. That's why, and this is the thing that I love about our ancestors. They left clues. They did. You just have to seek them out. So we're about the soul. We created what? Soul food. We created soul food. We have the ability to heal ourselves. So you can educate yourself on herbalism. The metaphysic reality and the metaphysics is something that we're deeply connected to. Tell me your story. Tell me your story. Because that's the thing about black people. Like, we go through a lot of shit. We do. Like, what they did to us during slavery, how are we still standing? How? How they colonized and like, how is it? And this is what I love about sinners. The scene, this is why, like, when people be like, they're so weirded out about their ancestors and just giving them honor and recognition, but will give Santa Claus that recognition or the Easter Bunny that recognition. Like all of these deities that are pagan, you'll give recognition to them, but your own fucking people, you're like, so they harvest off of that. They harvest off the energy that you give to who they serve, who they believe in. right? So neo soul, I love that. So we are the soul, meaning we can go through so much shit in our lifetime and still have soul to still be able to move people at an energetic like level and frequency. It doesn't matter where we are, where we go, it doesn't matter. And I'm going to say this because I recently had a conversation with the ancestors. This is an ancestor whisper. The reason why Black churches are crumbling isn't because it's Christianity. That's not it. The reason why it's crumbling is because it does not have the soul anymore. It's performance. People are doing what they feel is expected. Where we come from, the church, the Black church, Christianity, that was our sanctuary. That's where we met and connected with others at the soul. It wasn't performance. It wasn't expectations. It wasn't standards. It wasn't any of that. We connected at the soul because we had went through so much. We had experienced so much. So when we went to with the Black church, it was like where we came together and the spirit was able to move through us at the soul. That is what is truly missing in Black church. So the Black church is falling, not necessarily because it's Christianity. It's not. The framework of Christianity has a purpose, which our ancestors believed in, but they just didn't believe in all of it. They believed that the legacy that Jesus or Yahshua left behind was a legacy that they believed in. So they adapted, they just didn't adapt every little thing. So we believe we got to adapt every little thing because that's the system, that's the program, right? They didn't adapt every little thing. They also implemented some of their own practices that is not pagan, but you don't know about that because it got lost. How did it get lost? A lot of things get lost when you're oppressed and you're losing contact with family, tradition, culture, language, knowledge, folk tales, folk songs. So a lot of things get lost. But they left clues. They did. They left clues, but you got to open yourself up to that. But when you grow up in this system and they give you the white Christian program to follow, right? And it's wrapped in fear, how are you going to be able to seek out those clues? You can't because you're trapped by fear and you're trapped in this you're trapped in this white nationalist Christian, I'm gonna just call it what it is, a cult. And listen, they're MAGA. That's a cult. You're trapped in that, right? And so, and you're surrounded by fear that if you think outside of that, that you're going to hell, right? So you're trapped in that by fear. And so what you don't understand though is you're disconnected from yourself. You're disconnected from your ancestors. You're disconnected from who you are. You don't even know who you are. You don't even know why you're being treated differently compared to everybody else. Like the system tells you racism, but it's way deeper than that. So you're trapped in this and it takes you coming out of like this trauma pain that shapes this identity, this expectation for you to be able to question what was or what you thought was you or what made you who you are. And that's how you uncover and that's how you start to see the clues. Dropping a lot. That's how you start to see the clues. So the thing that makes us so incredible, because even though we were disconnected from our ancestors, right? The scene in Sinners where it's the scene where you see the many different generations. You see the tribe. You see the blues, you see the jazz, you see the country music, you see the rap, the hip hop, you see hell, the neo soul, you see all the different generations, right? In that scene, and they're all connected. So when you get all weirded out about connecting to your ancestors, the only thing you need to do is acknowledge your ancestors they've been showing up. You just haven't been picking it up. Because how are you remixing and creating these songs and these dances that are like remixes of what your ancestors were out here doing, and you don't even know them. You were disconnected from them. You were separated from them. How are you able to do that? Because it's in you. You just have not made that subconscious, that you have not made that, not subconscious, you have not made that conscious choice to connect. It's not about worship. It's about making that conscious connection, because that creates cognitive awareness. That sends signals out that you're open to receiving the truth. So I ain't gonna tell you to set up an altar in your home. Like, you don't even got to do all of that. Everything you need is within you. Everything in this world, there are tools. You can use tools, but they're just tools though. Everything you need is within yourself. Once you make that conscious choice to connect to who you are, conscious choice, the truth will be revealed to you. Just like that. Just like that. And it's because you're open to it. You have unplugged from this matrix. The weirdest thing I heard recently was people think Jesus is a program, or people think Christianity is a program. Christianity is not a program. The system is a program. Christianity is a consciousness. It's a consciousness. Like it's a it's an area up here. It does not exist in this world. It is a conscious. The legacy that Jesus left behind was a conscious, not a program. They took his legacy and they created this program to create control, to have control. Jesus, his legacy was a conscious. So focus on the conscious, not the program. So many people are focused on the program that they're so disconnected from the conscious. That's why they're mean, super judgmental, and like all of these things. And I'm like, if you would just focus on the conscious, okay, and less on the program, all right, you will literally see a difference in your life. All right. So I told you to do two things. Focus on the conscious, not the program, and make the conscious choice to connect to who you are. Who you are. You connecting to who you are is connecting you to your ancestors. Okay? All that like heebie jeebie, you got to do all this extra. You really don't. Like, you have everything within yourself. Everything in this world is a tool. Okay? I'm not against using tools, but when it comes down to it, I know who I am to the point where I know I don't need the tools in this world for me to be in this conscious, Jesus conscious, Christ conscious, right? And to be connected to who I am. So like when people try to tell me about myself, I just be like, I don't connect to that. That's not me. I know who I am. Like that's not who I am. And it's so easy for me. It's so easy for me to stand in my truth, is because this is what I live by. A conscious choice, a Christ conscious, self-acceptance, my identity, who I am. So now I'm focused on self-mastery because I know who I am. And that is what really transforms your life. And this is why change is good. This is why it's good. I used to be so fearful of change. It scared the living shit out of me. And it was because I was born in this system, and it made me feel like I had to just do the straight and narrow. And so the straight and narrow was the program. It wasn't just about being good. The straight and narrow was the program that they told us, that they fed us, that they had us believe in. So I was really fear of change. I was really fearful of testing boundaries, right? Based off of the program, right? I was very fearful of stepping out of what was told to me. I was very scared to transition out of what my parents had said, but then I had to accept the fact that my parents tell me what was told to them, and et cetera, et cetera. But when you are separated from your family, right, those old folk tales get lost. And that's where the truth always lies. So always keep that in mind. Like, always keep that in mind. But one thing that I will say is when you connect to who you are, which is you connecting to your ancestors, I don't know, they have this interesting way of like putting shit in your path. They have this interesting way of putting you in the right place, right time. You stumble across this book that has some truth in it. You connect with these people. And again, when you go through this deconstruction, this transformation, this transition, it's hard to connect to people because not too many people are out here doing this. Okay, because again, fear is what keeps people in control or controlled in the system. So here you are being, I don't know, the black sheep, the rebel, the outcaster, like you were outcasted. All right. If you watch the series Divergent, the outcasters were the people that lived outside of those what those compounds. I'll say that. The homeless, right? So you were outcasted. That's how you were seen. That's how you were seen in that series, in that movie. I read that series. That series was amazing. The movies doesn't really give it justice in my opinion. Like the book, I read that book from cover to cover. Like seriously, loved it. But I just remember in the book that the outsiders were the ones that rebelled up against the system, that weren't afraid to live outside of the system. And that's why, yeah, the generational healer, the chain breaker, that's why, like, when it comes to like this channel and me changing the name to Between Two Worlds, is because I have learned how to operate and observe from the outside, but still show up on the inside because we have to pay bills. They make us pay bills here. If you didn't know, they make us pay bills. Okay, so I still have to show up. I can't just completely clock out. So I show up, pay my bills, and then I leave. I don't just stay in this system. Like I escape a little bit. And I've learned how to escape healthy. Okay. We don't be drinking, we don't be smoking all the time. It's not just the dopamine hit that they love to encourage you to partake in, to give you that high, and then they still have control over you. That's why, and it's so crazy. I was talking to my younger brother tonight, and he was like, they literally give us that dopamine hit, and then like they gaslight us, and then we have to go back to work. We have to pay taxes. We have to pay bills. We have to do all of these things. So we actually become addicted to the dopamine hit. We become addicted to that shit. We become addicted. So how do you disconnect from that? Well, you disconnect from the system. You show up, you pay your bills, and then you clock out. It's a mentality though. It is a mental state. All right. Like, you're still gonna physically be here, of course, but mentally, you see beyond that shit. You see beyond the veil. You you see beyond all of that bullshit. You see it. You see right through it. Okay? So you're gonna live between two worlds because, to be honest, you have to. You have to. You have to. Because you're still here, right? And you have to believe, because this is coming from a girl that used to be suicidal, right? You have to believe that you being able to be consciously awakened and still be here is for a reason. So you still show up, you still pay bills, but you unplug. You don't do it by escapism or the addiction of the dopamine hit. All right. You're talking to the girl that used to pop pills, drugs, hell, sex, all of that. I was addicted to that stuff, that dopamine addiction. It was real. But I learned the reason why I'm addicted to it is because I'm like in this program and I'm trying to live up to what the program and the system requires. So ever since I disconnected from that system and the expectation of the system, I ain't struggle with that. I don't struggle with alcohol. I don't struggle with drugs. I don't struggle with none of that. I don't. I feel like the people that do struggle with that, they don't know how to live in between two worlds. So most people live in the world of the system where they're addicted to the dopamine hits. And then you got other people that live where they're living in the system, but they see through the veil, they see through the surface, and they know it's some bullshit. And so the only way that they know how to cope is by escapism, which is leading them right back to the dopamine hit. So this channel, I'm going to show you how to live, how to exist, how to live in between two worlds. That's what this channel is all about. Very intentional. When this title came to me, it came to me. Like, I really think it's my legacy. I think it's my calling. I think it's my purpose, because they said this year, like astrologers said this year, that 8% of the population is going to be awakened this year. Not the years to come, just this year. This is how I know it's my time. 8%. The 1%ers, which is the rich people, the billionaires, people that are in control of this shit, they're 1%. 8% of us will be awakened this year. They are shaking in their boots. They're nervous. I'm no longer arguing with people. I'm no longer debating people. I don't have to. I don't have to. Because you'll come back and you'll see that I was telling you the truth. Okay? I'm only sharing what my own understanding has came to. That's it. So let me show you this.
So I got this theory that we as black people are under this like crazy hypnosis, and we've been under hypnosis since 1970. This hypnosis is from programming, through TV, through movies, through music, things of that nature, right? Notice how in the 1960s, right, we were pro-black, we were fighting against any social injustices, we were fighting against systemic oppression, we were fighting for our rights. We took pride in families. We were together. We had esteem of ourselves. We knew who we were at this time. It was a civil rights movement, right? We had no black shows, no black movies to where it was like a full black cast or anything like that, except for like a Raisin in the Sun, which was depressing. The only other shows that we had in the 60s, which weren't fully black cast, was a show named Julia about a single black mom who was widowed. Her husband was gunned down in Vietnam, and she was raising a black boy into being a man. She was a nurse working for a company, working for a place. Then the next one was a show called The Bill Cosby Show, but not the one with Claire Huxtable and Rudy or nothing, but it was him being a gym teacher, and he was like a bachelor. I feel like these were tester shows, but they really didn't connect with the black community like that, because Bill Cosby was more so washed, and the show Julia was washed. It wasn't connecting with our people, so we wasn't really into those shows. We were still into the movement at that time.
Now, what has this live been about? When they want to disconnect you, what do? Whitewash. They whitewash. They know how to whitewash, then they know how to connect to us. But when they connect to us, like through TV shows and movies, it's to distract. It's not real. It's trickery. When they want to have us disconnected, they whitewash. Right? And this is why I do what I do on my Patreon. Girls are paying off their debt. I had a girl that came into my TikTok live the other day, and she said, Yoni, you have helped me so much. You helped me pay off my rent that I was in back pay about. You had me win a court case, and you had me, I think it was like pay off another bill or something like that that she was struggling with. And all I did was guide her to herself, not to me, to herself. And she realized who she was. She took power over her life, and she was able to fix these things. Okay? Like that. When you're disconnected, you could be praying and praying and wishing. It's like you're holding on, you waiting and waiting. It's like, when is it going to happen? So this is why I do what I do when it comes to my Patreon. I am leading you back to yourself. I'm leading you to who you forgot, which is who you really are. That's it. That's it. I'm leading you back to what you already know, what feels familiar, what feels natural. And how does this feel natural? Go back to that scene in Sinners when we were literally doing the same movements and they were just remixed, right? From what our ancestors were doing, but we didn't even know that that's what we were doing. I am just leading you back to who you are. That's it. That's it. That's it. That's it. But let's continue.
Other show that came out in like the 1950s and in 1951, it was called the Amos and Andy Show. It first was a radio show that was on from 1928 to 1960. It lasted 32 years on the radio, but it was two Caucasian guys cosplaying two men that were from Harlem and Chicago. But they depicted us as stupid, ignorant, and stuff like that on that radio show. But then in 1951, they created the actual show. TV show, because in the 20s the television came out, but up until 1950 only 9% of households had a television in their house. But then after 1950 to 1960 it boomed to 90%. So they knew that it was going to boom, so they created that show. But it only lasted for 2 years because the people who had a TV was people mostly, it wasn't really us. So they damn sure wasn't trying to see no Negroes on TV. So we still weren't fully entertained like that during this time. Because like I said, Bill Cosby show came out, but he wasn't the top comedian for the black community. It was Red Fox. It was Richard Pryor at that time. Notice how in the 1960s, during this whole time, from 1961, Patrice Lumumba was offed. 1965, Malcolm X was assassinated. 1968, it was MLK. It was Bobby Hutton, Bobby Seale, and Huey Newton, the co-founders of the Black Panther organization. They were thrown in jail in 1968 for false accusations. Huey P. Newton, it was for manslaughter charge, but he wound up beating it because it didn't stick. Then for Bobby Seale, it was him protesting against the Vietnam War. And then while he was in jail, they tried to stick a conspiracy charge on him, but it didn't stick. And he was in there, I believe, until the 70s or something. On December 4th, 1969, Fred Hampton was offed. Crazy enough, that same date, December 4th, 1969, was the same day that Jay-Z was born. Clearly, the black community during that time had to have been in an uproar. They took away our leaders, they assassinated them, and then they left us with nothing, right? And they kept with the systemic oppression, the racism, the hate. After that came 1970. Then 1971 was when the entertainment started coming, with Soul Train. So all our favorite artists are now gonna be seen on this show. Michael Jackson, the Supremes, Marvin Gaye, the Temptations, all of these people are now showcased to us. And we gotta wait for it to come out every week. I believe it was probably every week. And then we got to glue ourselves to the TV to watch it. So there was no more organizing. There was no more getting together. We were more so talking about this Soul Train line and stuff. And we seeing this cool guy on TV named Don Cornelius or something like that. And he's hosting it. It's like, oh man, we got our own show now. That's what's up. This is back in the 70s. Times were slower then, right? There were no streaming apps. There was no VCRs, there was no DVDs, there was nothing like that. You had to wait for the show to come out. So I looked up all the other shows and the movies that came out during that time. So now these were the ones that I just wrote down, but when I researched it, it was hundreds of movies that came out during that time. Once again, there was no VCR, no streaming site, so it wasn't like they would put movies out on Tubi. These were in the movie theaters, so where people had to go to them, spend 2-3 hours in the movie theaters, and then they were going to see the movie again back to back. That was what was going on during that time. 1971, Shaft came out. That same year, Soul Train came out. 1972, Superfly, Trick Baby, Blackula, Sanford and Son came out. 1973, The Mac,
Cleopatra Jones, Black Caesar, Coffee, Shaft in Africa, 1974. Foxy Brown, Claudine, Willie Dynamite. Good Times came out that same year. 1975. Cornbread Earl and Me, Cooley High, Dolomite. 1976. Car Wash, What's Happening. 1977. Roots. Now they had to throw something in there to remind us and to make us believe that we came from Africa and make us feel less than. So they gave us Roots in 1977. Then in 1978 was The Wiz. So in 1974 was this movie called Black Samson that came out. All of these were like big movies for the Black community. I just listed about 20 movies and about 6 shows that came out, all within that one decade after all of our leaders were assassinated. The majority of the movies that I listed were about imps, put a P in front of it, about rug dealers, about prostitutes, put a P in front of it, about us doing a bunch of debauchery and dumb stuff in the movie. To influence, I got to mention in 1972, Fat Albert came out for the kids. Around the same time, the Vietnam War was still going on. It was from 1955 to 1975. So when that flood of movies came in, up to 1975, when that flood of movies came in, you had a bunch of dads of the household leaders who were going fighting in the war. While the mom was single back home, they were sending her money back home and stuff. But she was raising the kids and they were going to the movies she was keeping them entertained, right? And this is what the little kids were seeing growing up, right? Also, vets that were coming back, they were on that H stuff, that Black stuff, putting it in their arm, not all of them, but then they came back to be influenced and see like, whoa, we got movies now? Once again, it went from the 60s to the 70s. Whoa, we got movies now? We the main characters? We got a whole Black cast? We got these shows? What is this Good Times? What is this Sanford and Son? What is this Soul Train? All of that stuff came about, right? That was the hypnotism. It doesn't take a doctor holding the clock on the string saying, you're getting sleepy. You're getting sleepy, now cluck like a chicken. It doesn't require that. All it takes is programming. And if you're constantly putting stuff in people's face, they're automatically going to start doing those things or portraying those things or reenacting those things. This is what's going to happen, especially if you're doing it and feeding it to little kids. Little kids are in the room too, because it's one TV in the house. It was the 70s. So they're seeing this stuff and now they're going to portray this stuff. The same thing is still going on today. We're being influenced by this stuff. Little kids are being tricked out of their lives through the music today. Just like we were tricked out of our freedom through the dope boy era. Even when they hire Black directors, just think about all the shows or movies that these Black directors that came out with. And I love them all, but we had John Singleton, we have Ryan Coogler, great movies. We have Issa Rae, great shows. I love Issa. You have Lena Waithe. Like, bro, like the shows that come out, like The Shy, what's involved in The Shy, Insecure, Issa sleeping with a lot of different dudes. You got John Singleton, all hood movies. Ryan Coogler having to have the white dude save the day in Black Panther. Added to that list of writers and directors is of course, Tyler Perry. And him having Taraji P portray this distraught Black woman in every film. Even with Issa Rae, you don't think Issa Rae could have came out with something better than One of Them Days? Like, she pitched the idea to the people who are in control of the entertainment industry. And she said, hey, I have a movie about 2 Black girls. They're about to own their first house and they're about to put in the money with each other. They both have great jobs. They have great husbands or boyfriends. Issa, I don't think that sounds good. You have anything else? Well.
Okay, so I can answer this. Some of us are both from Africa and from here. That's why I don't trust those ancestry DNA tests. Some of us are both. How is that possible? Where how? Some of us were already here, right? And then some of us came from Africa. So half of us were already here, and then some of us came from Africa. So you both have indigenous and African in your blood. But they always try to make it seem like we only came from Africa, that we were not already here. So that's what that is. So that's what he meant by that. If you know, you know.
I don't know, you know how Issa Rae act. I have this movie about 2 Black girls staying in the projects and they're just trying to pay the next month's rent. And they go through a bunch of stuff and one of the girls has a boyfriend and he only likes to buy Air Jordans, so he can't help them because he's staying with them, but he doesn't have the money. And they get chased around by this bully that's a girl, and then she catches up with him, the bully, and then she beats both of them up and she twerks on them. That's it! Issa, you're a genius! That's it, Issa. That's the movie. Hey, where's my checkbook? $20 million. Here you go, Issa. There you go. We're going to promote this movie. We're going to market it, and you're going to sell this movie out. It's going to be the top in the box office. I can promise you that. Mwah, you're a genius. The rap music, we're the only ones that shit on our own women. We're the only ones that talk about all this foolishness in our music, spending money on dumb stuff, like selling rugs to each other, doing rugs. Even it goes to the R&B music too, because if I listen to Taylor Swift, she's singing about all of these beautiful things. But then when I go and I listen to Jasmine Sullivan, who has a beautiful voice, she's talking about busting the windows out of my car. Like the frequencies are different from when it comes to Taylor to when it comes to Jasmine. It's like, but Jasmine has to put it out because she has to give all her music to the A&R, and they're only gonna okay certain songs. They're in control of everything, and it's putting us under hypnosis. And we don't see it. Once again, it doesn't take a hypnotist to swing a clock in front of your face that's on a string and say, you're getting sleepy, now cluck like a chicken and bark like a dog. It doesn't require that. All it requires is programming, streaming apps, streaming series, movies, music. That's all it requires. And if you constantly put this stuff and drill this stuff into people's brain, they're going to think like this. Look at the Caucasian shows. Look at our shows. Come on now. Look at 50 Cent with All Power, BMF, Ghost. Come on, man.
Listen, y'all just heard how they killed all of our leaders. And then you ask, I'm sorry, but why isn't he, as a black man, not creating his own media and movies to inspire and paint the culture the way he sees fit? Do y'all not understand that we are in a system? This is the reason why I'm pointing this out is because black women, you're under attack right now when it comes to the workforce. I've been meaning to do a video about this. So why aren't you out here creating jobs? Because they don't want you to have those jobs. They don't want you to have those positions and those opportunities. They only wanted to give it to you when it benefited them. And I told you that the deportations that we were seeing was going to affect us because they want to put us back in those roles that the immigrants in this country were working. So they fire us and then they demote us to a lower position in the workforce to fulfill what they want us to fulfill and not what we want to fulfill through our own desires and inspirations. So that's huge. Then the next layer too, right? There was a white man that came on TikTok and said, because, they want us to feel like, I don't know why, but like the palm colored people want us to feel some type of way about them creating white only communities. And then there was this white male on TikTok that said, I wonder, like, why don't black people do that? We've tried. We haven't tried recently because we're addicted to the dopamine hit. I could be real with you and say that. But we did. We tried. They burned it all down. They hell, some of the black cities that we built is covered up by lakes. So it's like we can't say that the effort was never there or it was never given. But anytime we have tried, right? They will do everything and anything. Yeah, Rosewood and Tulsa is just one of many, or two of many. We've tried. Black Wall Street, that's another one. We've tried, but like they've literally either burned it all down. Us, like, this is what's so funny. This is why I say it's projection. When that white man came online, it was like, I wonder when we're gonna see black people create their own communities. It's a projection because they could go out and create their own white community. We don't give a fuck. We don't give a damn. But when we do, it's a problem. It's always a problem. Why is it always a problem? If it's not a problem for them to go out and create their all white community, why is it a problem for us? What is it about us? Is it really just the color of our skin? No, it's not. It's not just the color of your skin, the reason as to why they're bothered when you go out and you create your own community. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. It's deeper than that. So they don't want us to go out and create our own community. And when you know who you are, you'll know why. Okay? You'll know why. Also, the another point that he made was distractions, right? But see, this is people are getting bored and people are getting burnt out. And when people get bored and they get burnt out, they detach, they disconnect. One thing I notice about the distractions, they try to keep feeding us the same shit and it gets old, it gets tired. The same drug TV shows, the same drug storyline for movies. We tired of that shit. We done see that shit once, we done seen it before. Show us something else and show us something different. Do you think that they really can't show us something else or show us something different? Or do you think it's because they're choosing not to show us something else and show us something different? It's because they're choosing not to show us something else and show us something different. So the reason people are waking the hell up as we speak is because people are bored, burnt out, overstimulated, and they're disconnecting. What does that mean? If you're disconnecting, you're no longer feeding into the doom scrolling, you're no longer feeding into the distractions, you're awake. Holy shit. I'm in a system. Holy shit. We have to pay taxes. Holy shit. I have to pay bills. Holy shit. I'm a fucking slave. Like, what the fuck? I have to go to work every day. I gotta pay bills. The American dream isn't real. That's why I need my light keepers. That's why I need y'all. I need y'all to be active out here in the community. Cause you know how it is, cause you went through it. Things got dark first before they got lighter. Right? You struggled between the two worlds. Things got dark, right? You were like, well, what's the point of all of this? What's the point of living? I'm stuck in this system. I see through the bullshit. I see the manipulation. I see the gaslighting. I see the corruption. I see the lies. Things got dark, right? So when these people wake up, I need you to be out in the community spreading that light. That's what I need. That's why if you join me over here, you are a light keeper and you're going to go out into the community and you're going to usher these people because they even said it that suicide rates would go up. People being addicted to drugs will go up. Homelessness will go up. It will be bad. That's why I need you out here in the community spreading your light, keeping the light, reminding people, okay, of brighter days. And I'm going to tell you the truth that afterlife, the heaven, that's not going to work. Not when we are looking and seeing how the rich are living. Not when we're looking and seeing people suffer in another country because of our tax dollars. That shit ain't going to work. Especially when we're living in a country that's built off Christian principles. But it doesn't seem to be operating off of Christian principles because if this country did operate on Christian principles, our tax dollars would not be paying for a genocide. That's not Christian principles. That's some evil shit. And so the gaslighting, that shit ain't gonna work. The lying, that's not gonna work. The corruption, that's not gonna work. It's not working. So I need you to be out in the community spreading that light. That's what I need. That's what I need. That's what this channel is about. Helping people adapt to the two worlds, right? Okay, that's what it's about. And it's showing people the light. That's it. Showing people the light. Showing people that there's still light after all of this. right? All right, they lied about some of the stuff in Christianity. They manipulated the truth, right? They had us out here thinking Jesus was white. All right, they lied about some things. They covered up some things. They stole some things. They refurbished some things. They repackaged some things. They lied to us, right? But there's still some light at the end of that tunnel. That is what being a light keeper is truly all about. All right. So you're going to take these experiences, these conversations that we have here, and you're going to go out and you're going to spread that information, because these conversations awaken you in different ways, heal you in different ways, give you a perspective to where you could go out authentically, right? Because you have your own perspective and still spread that light. That's what it's about. It's not about conflict. It's not about arguing. It's about having a conversation. That's it. Having a conversation. Duality, okay, is a real thing. It exists. And it is truly all about duality is not conflict. Because all hell could break loose. Duality is not conflict. These two worlds are not conflict. It's just a conversation. Okay? For now. It's just a conversation for now. So that's where we are. Um 2030 is the lock in. Well, I'm locking in now. It's 2025. I'm locked in. I've been locked in since 2020. My initiation happened in 2020. I've been locked in ever since then. Maybe I should do a story time about my initiation. Um, but I'm already locked in. I've been locked in since 2020. That shit woke me up. The censorship, and this is the thing. You cannot gaslight me off of what I saw, what I witnessed. You can't. You can't. And it's so crazy. 2020 was the year for me because I disconnected. That's why my awakening and my initiation and all of that stuff happened, was because I disconnected. 2019, I was curious but still distracted. I was curious but still distracted. I was reading scriptures in the Bible, and I sent it to my mom, and I was like, is this the God that is this what the hell? So 2020, I was curious in 2019. 2020 was when I had my massive awakening. And I've just been different ever since. Okay. You've seen me truly like transition. And another thing too, when you're a light keeper, you're not in your ego at all. You're not ego driven, you're not ego centered. Ego is a protective barrier, right? Like it has everything to do with like self-esteem and confidence and everything, but you got to know when to put that barrier down and be humbled, right? Not humbled by outsiders, because outsiders can't humble you, but you be humbled within yourself to learn new things, to hear new things, to understand new things from other people. Okay, so we don't lead by ego, we lead by light. And when you lead by light, you lead by love, compassion, transparency, understanding, harmony, balance, not ego. Ego is just a protective barrier. That's it. But you got to know when to put that protective barrier down so that you can humble yourself. And it's really humbling to me when you humble within yourself, you're grounding. That's it. That's all it is. When I hear people say, "Oh, let me humble myself. Let me ground myself." So maybe a better word is, "Let me ground myself. Let me level. Let me really ground and be rooted," right? So you're not like so up here that you can't connect. So let me ground. So then I can communicate and come from a place of love and compassion and understanding. That's what it's about. Seriously. So we don't lead by ego. That's not what we do. Um, we ground ourselves, and you can ground yourself through many different ways. I go visit my family. I love to be around kids. Kids ground you. They remind you of what it was like to live a life before all of this shit. Like remembering to have fun, to laugh, to be free, to not have any worry. Kids ground you really well. Okay? I love the kids. I may not have none, but I love the kids. I love the children. I don't play about them. Okay? So I do. I go around the kids, even though they be making me sick because they got the little people germs. The little people germs are vicious. But kids can help you ground. Kids can help you remember what it was like in your life to be childlike and like free. So ground yourself. If you have kids, connect with them, meet them where they are, right? Instead of always wanting them to meet you where you are as an adult. Have those moments where you meet them where they at. Get grounded with them. Okay, they can ground you really well. And that's to me what it means to like humble yourself and ground yourself. Of course, you can do yoga, you can meditate, you could be a listener. I know, right? I Being a listener is so grounding. I don't know why people don't talk about this. For real. Cause you hear about somebody else's experience or you hear about somebody else's walk in life, you hear about somebody else's like lifeline, and you be like, damn, got you out here like thinking different. When you can hear and listen to other people, that's grounding. That's what that is. Because arrogant people don't listen. Egotistical, ego-driven people do not listen. They don't. They don't listen. So please understand that that's what this is about. Change is good. Embrace change. Do not run from it. Don't be fearful of it. It's incredible. I will always tell you that we didn't come here to live a program. We came here to live an experience. The program just happens to be a part of the experience, but don't make it your whole experience. And I'm going to leave it on that, y'all. Y'all enjoy y'all's Friday, Saturday night, morning, wherever you are. Happy 888 portal, new beginnings. We are in our breakthrough. We're not calling on it. We're not wishing on it. We're in our breakthrough. That's where we are. So I'm excited about just the direction of my creativity. I've been afraid to show this side of myself because you know how people get. so I so I didn't even get into that. You're going to hell. Or that ain't right. That's wrong. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so I've been afraid. But if you ever met me offline in real life, you know, this is how we connect. This is how I connect to people. So I'm excited to share this with the virtual world. And I appreciate everyone that has been supporting me over the years, allowing me to go through my process, allowing me to find myself, to grow, to evolve, to change, to be better, to be bad too. So thank you. And I hope to catch you in my next one.